Welcome back to FEG Entertainment, and we're back with more questions for Miss Mathis.
That's right. Miss Mathis, 2015 is coming to a close. So many things going on. I just want to pick your brain. A few topics here. What would be your thoughts on the Black Lives Matter movement?
I think every time America makes progress, young people lead the way. And that's true whether you're talking about the abolition of slavery or women getting the right to vote. And of course, those were movements led largely by whites, but young people led the way. The civil rights movement, Jesse Jackson and those were in their 20s. Andy Young was older and he was like 27 or something. So it's always young people who lead the way toward change. Whether you're talking about Tiananmen Square in China or the French Revolution or Thomas Jefferson and George Washington were young men when they led the American Revolution. They were also terrorists. Don't let anybody confuse you about that.
The Brits will say that, yeah.
To the British, they were terrorists, right? Because they were hiding in the woods, jumping down out of the trees, shooting people without giving warning. So I'm delighted about Black Lives Matter. The fact that they don't have a constitution and bylaws and a president and chapters and all that doesn't bother me. As long as they remain true to their mission, which is to reduce the amount of violence that black men face in the streets of America, which is what it boils down to, I think. I think they're on the right path. They have absolutely changed the conversation.
Right.
They've elevated this issue someplace where it would not have been without them. So I'm grateful to them. And I want to try to support them in a way that I can.
Definitely. So how do you think that impacts single moms nowadays? Because they always say with single mothers raising a young man, there's a difference now from back in the day to where it is now. They do not have that support. They do not have, as they would say, the father in the house. They do not have the mentors. How do you feel about that?
Well, it's such a complex issue, and that's one of the first things that well-meaning white people will say, is you just have to do something about the black family. I said, well, write us some checks. That'll do something about it.
It definitely will.
That would help. And then they look at me kind of cuckoo, like, what is she talking about? But there's so many factors influencing it. Hyper-incarceration is the one, I think, that has the most bearing on what family life is like for a lot of children. You've got 2 million black children whose parents are incarcerated. So where does that leave them? Are their uncles and aunts and grandparents capable of stepping up to the plate? Are those of us who have maybe raised our own children, are we doing enough? Is the black community doing enough? And then there's some structural issues too, some structural racism issues. Take, for example, we're talking about fixing Social Security. One of the things Social Security does is pays for children whose parents are deceased. But if you have to attain the age of 67 to draw Social Security, and the average black man's life expectancy is 65, what are you saying to a whole community of people? You're going to pay into the system because it comes out of your paycheck.
Yes.
But those tens of thousands of dollars will never be available to you or your heirs. There's something fundamentally unfair about that, and that's probably one of the issues you may hear me speaking more about, is that as we address these inequities, yes, there's personal responsibility. And frankly, being of a certain age, I think that sometimes some young black women could do a better job choosing fathers.
Yes.
Becoming a parent is an awesome responsibility, and I think we take procreation too lightly. And yes, it is passion, it is love, it is all those wonderful things. But it's also a responsibility. And for the most part, it's a woman's responsibility.
Yes, I agree.
Because that's just, you call it sexist or whatever you want to call it, but that's just sort of the way the deal is structured. That if we don't demand responsibility, we won't get it.
Right. And I agree, because you would say, oh, he's cute.
Right.
Will not implement the future of your children. What is his goals? Where is he looking at in 10 years,
What is he
5
doing
years?
with the children he's already got?
Amen. When we come back, we have more from the lovely Miss Janice Mathis.